Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series, and it is still June on the Range, and I've got another book. I loved this book. This book, I yelled at this book. I almost cried in this book. This book took me through it all, and I absolutely loved it. I'm just going to tell you right from the beginning, this was a 5-star read for me. Absolutely 5 stars all the way through. And I cannot wait to read book 2. The book that I'm talking about is called Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls by Kaela Rivera. And this book, I can't even begin to tell you how good, how absolutely incredible this book is. Okay, let me talk to you about it because I have so much to say about this book. I gotta boil it down. So, first off, what is this book about? This book is about a girl named Cece Rios, who she lives in Mexico in a small town called Tierra del Sol. And in this town, it's just such a good book. So in this book, she lives in this town with her family. She has an older sister and she lives with her mom and her dad. And they're in this town that's surrounded by ruins. So there's like the town, and then around it are all these ruins, and then around that is the desert. And you quickly learn that this is not just any old town. And out in the desert are these creatures called criaturas, who a lot of the people in town think that they are all evil. The legends say that some of them might have been good at some point, but now human beings and criaturas are in a war against each other. And the story begins with Cece Rios going out into the desert and meeting one of these criaturas when she was a little kid, and she gets cursed with a curse of water. When everyone in town talks about the fire inside them that they have to hold on to in order to defeat back the darkness and the criaturas that are coming to attack their town. And so that is the beginning of this story that just sets you onto this journey where it is nonstop. It is so scary at points. There is one character, one of these criaturas, that is so evil. And the scene that this character comes and takes away someone that Cece loves is so frightening and so scary. And I just loved it so much. This book was nonstop. It is so, so good. Kaela Rivera, when she does her action scenes, they're so well written. I really, really, really enjoyed it. She knows how to really weave the action and make it very believable and understandable. Sometimes authors can get into this mode of writing action scenes that kind of get lost in the action, and you're like, wait, what's happening right now? Like, what's going on? Like, where are we? Like, who's doing what? And you kind of get lost in the action scene. But this author really knows how to paint that picture and help you follow along exactly with what is happening in the story. Cece Rios is such a great character. I really loved her character because she has heart, but she's also tough, but she also wants to save her family and save the town and figure out what's going on with the criaturas. Like, why has this become the thing that everyone is so obsessed with? Like, saying that these creatures are so evil. Like, are they actually? And so then, when someone that Cece loves is taken, she realizes she has to get them back. And the only way to do that is to become what's called a bruja. And these are kind of like, they take a creature and they become its master and can command it by holding on to their soul, which is on like a necklace. And I'm just going to tell you, this is so fascinating. This book has kind of like Pokemon vibes in some ways, but it's also like all wrapped up in this Mexican lore, which is so rich and beautiful and just so incredible. I loved it so much. And I'm just going to tell you right now, your heart is going to break, people. In the best way, though. In the best kind of way. There is a moment near the end of this book where I literally yelled at this book. And I was saying, no, you're not allowed to do that. Because I kept thinking, oh no, you're going to do it, aren't you? You're going to make that happen. I know what you're going to do. And then it happened. And I yelled at the book. I was so upset. But then things just continue to unravel, and I was wondering if things would be left on a cliffhanger, because there are 2 sequels to this book, but things are wrapped up really well, I felt like. And overall, I will say this book is dealing with such weighty subject matter that's really good. This book really deals with, in a very deft way, the idea of what do you do when there are people who hurt you? And how do you handle those situations? Especially when it is someone that you love that hurts you. Someone that is absolutely seems like they should not be hurting you. And you would never expect it. And I think that this book handles that conversation so well and is so sophisticated in that conversation that it just elevates all of the material to another level in such a great way. I really, really loved it. I really realized that that's what this book is kind of like, the theme underneath it, about halfway through, when there were some different things happening, and I thought, oh, wow, that is powerful. That is definitely what this book is about. And I think the amazing thing here is that this book is also about finding the third way. And I think that that is something that we don't often do in society. Oftentimes we turn a lot of issues and different conversations into either this or that. Two choices. It's a binary. There's no other option. That's what it is. It's one of those 2 choices. Either you do this, or you act this way, or you don't. And this book is really about, can Cece find a third way? And I think it is such a powerful, important message that people need to hear. This is such a good book. I literally cannot tell you enough. This book is so incredible. If you love stories set in the desert, set in Mexico, that have like deep lore, that have this kind of like I said, a Pokemon aspect to it, this is right up your alley. Such a good book. I so enjoyed it. In fact, I would say this is definitely on my list for top 10 of the year. Out of all the books I've read so far this year, this is up there in the top 10. And this fits June on the Range. This is in the desert. It's in the West. There's a lot of different talk of cactus and the adobe ruins. And I just loved it. The atmosphere and the setting is so perfect. I just really cannot say enough good things about this book. And like I also said, this book is going to break your heart, and it is going to be so just the kind of good cathartic gut punch that is so great sometimes. And I just, like I said, I loved this book. This book, 5 stars. There's just no doubt in my mind. Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls, 5 stars all the way across the board. Dare I say this is a perfect book? I kind of think I might. This book was so well done. I so enjoyed it. I think if you like stories with strong characters that make great choices, that have a great atmosphere, and there's some scary stuff here. I actually wouldn't recommend this for really little kids, because I do think that some of it is really terrifying. And some of the, like I said, the message about people who hurt you is very sophisticated and well done, but definitely it's going to be a conversation after you read this book. This is one of those books that if you have a kid who reads this kind of book, this is one to read as well and have conversations with them about it. I actually wish there was a discussion guide with this book. There wasn't one in the back of this book, but I think this is one of those books that would really benefit from a discussion guide, because I think people could really use that conversation starter to talk about these sorts of things, talk about the ways that people have treated them and the things that have gone on in their past, and also the ways that people look at others and assume so much. Because a lot of people do that kind of stuff. We look at others and we assume we know everything there is to know about them based on what they're wearing, what they look like, how they act. And we think that's all there is to a person. And I think this book shows that there is deeper waters in people than we realize sometimes. So, give this book a read. If this sounds like the kind of fantasy, scary, but lore heavy book with really great world building, and you like a little bit of, I didn't even talk about the romance. Y'all, there's also romance in this book. And I actually was a little surprised, because this is a middle grade book, but the romance was really great. And I found myself kind of swept up in it, thinking, this is super good. This is really great stuff. I think this is well done. So check out Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls. You will not go wrong. This is a great book. So, until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.